Hi Indonesia, apa kabar? Aku Pacer, also known as Kyle Patrick. Check out my interview on CreativeDisc.com, the number one music website in Indonesia.
Hola, City Bestie. Welcome back to the Creative Disc exclusive interview with me, Dini. And now I finally met with the long lost musician who is finally back with his new project called Pesa. So who is he? Please welcome Kyle Patrick. Yay! Hello, Kyle.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
You too. Thank you so much for having me. I have great memories of Creative Disc and spent a lot of time looking into the interviews and reading up on your website. And I appreciate all the support over the years. So it's great to be back here. It's been a really long time, and I'm doing really well. I'm really happy to be back. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for your time also, and we are so feel so glad that you are finally back. Okay, so let's jump to the first question. So Kyle Patrick, what inspired you to start this new project under the name Pacer? And does it have any significant meaning for you and your music?
Yes, it's been a long time coming for me to try a totally new project that's starting from nothing. I haven't done that in a very long time, and ever since making records with the Click Five, I made some things after that under my own name, and I always had this kind of love for artists that had this moniker that weren't necessarily going under their actual name. It was kind of this freedom that happened with creating a new name. It was like the sound could be anything, the production style could be anything. There's no ties to the past. It's this clean slate, I guess. So I've always had this kind of, it's almost like a bucket list thing for me to create a project that was under a different name. So enter Pacer, and the name is significant in a sense that I came up with it on the night where I filmed my first music video as Pacer, and I didn't have the name yet. I was looking for a new band name, and I couldn't figure anything out. It's interesting when you're trying to go through that process of coming up with a name, you might find something that you think is really good, and then you look it up on Spotify or something just to see if there's someone else that already has that name. And 98% of the time, that name is already taken, and it's an artist that has millions of followers and tons of monthly
Oh,
listeners on Spotify, and I've never heard of a lot of these people. So I had a bunch of names before Pacer, and none of them worked
mhm.
out for that reason. But on the night of my music video, I was literally just pacing around my room. I was so excited about how the video shoot went, and it was for a song called No Drama, which is my first single, and it was one of the best days of my life. I kid you not. I felt so good to be back making my own music again, and the team making the music video was so sweet and amazing to me. They made me feel like a star, and that day was just amazing. So I was like riding high and just pacing around my bedroom. And I said to myself, I'm such a pacer. I like couldn't stop moving, and I'm like ADHD and always moving around. So it kind of stems back to that night and me just pacing around my bedroom.
Okay. So and if I'm not mistaken, Pacer means pioneer, right? Or what
What
is
was
it?
that?
For
That means
what is
what?
it? The mean? Yeah.
The
Pacer. It means pioneer, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, like a pioneer. I guess so. Yeah. You know what?
Pioneer. Yeah,
I haven't even
yeah.
looked
Yeah.
up the meaning of it. That's so funny, but
Oh.
that does make sense. That does make sense. I think because actually there's a lot of things with like racing. Actually, I'm a big racing fan. So like in NASCAR
Mhm.
racing, there's a pace car. In all types of racing, there's usually a pace car. So they're kind of the pioneer of the race. They get the race started and they kind of get everyone paced. So that's kind of interesting. I've never even thought about that, but that's amazing. I'll take it. That's a good thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because it suits with your new beginning, right? If I'm okay. So how does Pacer differ from your previous musical endeavors as Kyle Patrick?
Yeah, it's I think it's a natural progression from when I was making music with the Click Five, for example. Um, I was 19 years old in the start of that up until about 25 years old. So I was very young, and I didn't really have a whole lot of say in those records. I definitely was co-writing. The whole band was co-writing together, and we did have, obviously we wrote the songs and we played instruments on the record and stuff. But outside of that, it was all this like crazy whirlwind to me, and I wasn't really at the helm of anything, and I was just kind of getting a lay of the land and learning the music industry, and I just had no idea what I was doing. So there's some interesting qualities in that. It's very fun, and those are some of the best years of my life. But I think now, like, I'm sitting in my studio here. I'm making the records essentially myself. There's definitely collaborators that I work with, but I'm at the helm. It's something I'm doing on my terms, and I think out of that has spawned this kind of more alternative sound, which is typically what I would listen to in my free time, and the type of artist that I gravitate towards in my current day life are a little bit more alternative and experimental, um, indie music, at the end of the day. Now, it's still me at the heart of it. I still gravitate towards pop songs. So the songwriting is definitely still pop. I love catchy melodies. I love singable lyrics. I love things that people can latch onto. And yeah, like the song form is, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a chorus. That's typically a pop song form, and I still love that traditional pop song form. So at the heart of it, it's this like catchy tune and melody, but it's dressed up in a little bit more of a lo-fi, alternative kind of way. So that I would say is the main difference, is the production. um, but it's still me at the core of it. It's still my voice, and it's still my songwriting style. So there's definitely some similarities to my past music. That's never going to change. But yeah, it's just dressed
Mm.
up in a different way. And I've been working very hard as a producer, for more than 10 years now. The last thing I put out was 12 years ago. My own music was 12 years ago. So I've been working very hard with other artists and producing their music for 10 years. And I've really cut my teeth and worked really hard in the studio and learned a lot about recording. And I've spent a lot of time doing that. That's been my career for the past 10 years. So I think the Pacer project is not only a solo project for me, but it's also this kind of, starting point for me putting myself out there as a producer as well.
Oh, oh my God, that's great. Sounds amazing. Okay, yeah, 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 we got it. And maybe for City Bestie that who are not familiar yet with Pacer or Kyle Patrick, he is actually spent years touring the world selling out theaters and stadiums as the frontman and co-writer of pop act The Click Five. But after a series of life-changing events, he was forced to take a long hiatus to focus on his health. So we are so glad that you're finally back, Kyle, and you still look as good as you and in the past.
Thank you so much.
you still like you still handsome.
I appreciate that so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
so as the very first song, yeah, yeah. So as the very first song of this project, you already released a single titled No Drama. So you can tell us about the inspiration behind the song and what message that you want to deliver to your listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. No Drama is, it's always been the first song that I thought I've written, 20 or so songs for Pacer. And for some reason, that one always, I felt like it got across the sound of Pacer the best to be the first song that comes out. Um, I've always really liked that song. And it also tells a story that I've been wanting to tell about a breakup that I went through several years ago now. And this is, of course, a very long story. It was a long relationship. That ended in 2018, and I quickly started writing some songs about that breakup. Of course, it was a big deal. I was in the relationship for 7 years, and we were nearly going to get married. And at a certain point, things just fell apart, and I ended up moving out of New York. I had lived in New York for a very long time and built a life there for 10 years in New York, and then I moved here to Los Angeles right after that breakup. That was kind of a big change immediately that I did after that breakup. So I started writing about that in late 2018, early 2019, and No Drama was the first song that I wrote about it as well. So it's kind of telling the story that I've been wanting to tell for a long time, um, but I couldn't because I was in a bad accident, and I ended up having to take some time off
Mm.
because of that from everything. So I had written many songs and had some stuff ready to release in like 2020. I had made a music video in 2020 for No Drama. I was ready to go, and then I was in a really bad motorcycle accident that left me with a broken neck. So
Oh.
it was a difficult time. I got very lucky, as you can see. I'm fine for the most part. I have some like neck issues a little bit, and some numbness in my left hand is not quite back to normal yet. But all
Mhm.
things considered, I'm okay. So I got very lucky. So there's this kind of sad message, I guess you could say, behind No Drama. What it was written about, there's some sadness there, of course, with the breakup, and just about two people that don't really mesh together, and there's most of their interaction is fighting, um, and at a certain point you have to realize that maybe these two people just aren't meant for each other. So that's long and short, that's the message of No Drama. So while there's that sadness, there's also this like absolutely beautiful, thankful feeling that I have from it as well, because I got so lucky in this accident, and I'm not paralyzed when I could have been, and of course I could have died very easily in that accident. So I think there's this like, I just feel so lucky to be able to even release it. So there's a special message behind that song that is, I'm just thankful to even be here to be able to do it and sing again. So it feels really good.
Oh, okay. Oh, I cannot. It's kind of unexpected because the message behind the song is very sad, and finally went through very various sad events actually before this release of the new drama.
Yeah,
Oh, thank God that you're back right now. So,
thank you. Yeah.
are there any upcoming releases or collaborations we should look forward to?
Yeah, I have so that video for No Drama is actually going to come out tomorrow. So
Oh, okay.
it's actually your
Hmm.
Friday already. It's supposed to come out tonight at midnight. So it'll come out at I think 2
Ah.
p.m. 2 p.m. your time there. Um, I'll release it tonight.
Hmm.
So I'm very excited about that. Like I said, that was one of the best days of my life making that video. So I'm so excited for that to come out. So that's the next thing in line. And then I have several songs lined up to release for Pacer. So the goal is to release 4 songs over roughly the next 6 months. Um, and yeah, just starting to get the sound of Pacer out there. And I know it's going to be this kind of slow build, and I'm not going to rush it. In the past, I've felt a lot of anxiety and stress with releasing music and it needing to get 5 million streams on day one, or just like expecting the world to immediately hear what I am doing. And I just know that now I've just been doing this a long time. That's just not really how it works. I know it's a long game. So I have this view of releasing music now with Pacer that's just a lot more chill, um, and less stressful. I'm taking it as it comes, and I'm just having a blast with it. And at the forefront, I'm making music that I really love, and that's what makes me happiest.
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of second place. It's like I'm just making stuff that I feel really good about. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So do you have plans for maybe full album or at least an EP for the release after the release of No Drama?
Yeah, I think there will be an EP. I have, like I said, 4 songs right now, and I think I'm gonna add a fifth and sixth to that. So I'm working on those new
Mm.
songs right now. I have like so these songs. I'm trying to get through these 4 songs, and I'll tell you why. These 4 songs are all written about my former relationship, and it's been so long ago that I don't. I couldn't be further removed from those feelings. I don't feel that way at all anymore. I'm actually in a new relationship that's amazing, and I'm about to get married in a little over a month. So I'm in this completely new life. I have this wonderful fiance. We have a dog. We just bought a house here in Los Angeles. I'm making all
Mm.
this amazing music with other people, but I wrote those songs just in this totally other life, and that's the cool thing about music, I think, and songwriting is they're snapshots of how you might feel any given point.
Mm.
Um, I just don't feel that way anymore, but I hope that these songs will relate to the listener in their own way. Maybe they'll take something away from it, and maybe they'll relate to it, and it will help them through potentially maybe a difficult time in their life or a breakup or whatever it might be. Um, so I think No Drama specifically, I hope that it's a nudge to people that maybe are in a relationship that isn't right for them to maybe look into other options. It's something that I stayed in a relationship for far too long. I knew fairly early on that it wasn't quite right. There was something that wasn't quite right, but I still stayed in that relationship for many years, and I think it in many ways I learned a lot, and there's of course no regrets. But I think maybe these songs will be helpful to people to be a nudge, to look into other options, or just kind of assess their relationship a little bit if they feel like it's wrong or stressful or abusive or anything like that. So that's what I hope. Maybe these will help other people, and then after that, I'll be writing songs, and I've already written songs about my new relationship and some happier topics.
Oh my God, that's sweet. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
And Patrick, it was a very lovely conversation with you, but um, unfortunately, I have one last question. So, do you have any message for your friends who have followed you from Kyle Patrick to Pacer?
Yes, absolutely. I am so happy to be doing this again, and I'm so thankful that there are some people out there that still want to hear what I have to say in a song and still want to hear my voice. That really means the world to me, and I hope that this leads to coming to Indonesia and playing another show. That's my ultimate goal is to come to Indonesia, of course. So I love you guys so much. I miss you dearly. It's been way too long. It's been over 10 years or something. So it's time. I'm ready to come back. I want to play for you guys. I want to sing for you guys. I'm ready to do this again. So I just appreciate you sticking with me for so long. And just being a fan, it means the world to me. There's no words in the English language that I feel like does it any justice, but it just means so much to me. And thank you, and I'm back to stay. I'm here making a bunch of new music.
Okay, we cannot wait for you to be back to Indonesia, Kyle Patrick. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you yeah, I hope that Pacer will finally release an EP this year, maybe. So you can don't make your fans wait too long for it.
I won't. I won't.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, and see you next time.
Of
Bye
course. Thank you
bye.
so
Have a
much.
nice
Thank you.
day.
All right, you too. Bye bye.